Hi friends, this is DaintyTank. Thank you for joining me. This is Our Life Beginnings and Always, Part 3. Poke the Totoro in the upper eye card area where you can see the rest of this. I gotta turn this down. Why do I always have this up? So loud! No. Anyways, so last we left off, we played around and caught fireflies, and it was adorable. Absolutely adorable. So, let's continue. I think there was a lot more moments we could do. Continue! Alright, cool. So we did fireflies. We could do sandcastle, long day, grown up, or shopping. I kind of want to do grown up. Let's do grown up. One sweltering summer day, you were in your living room with Cove, listening to the sounds of birds chattering outside the window while you lay across the rug on the floor. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your moms had left the two of you along with Lizzie to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to Mommy, so your sister was starting to get impatient waiting for her golf class that evening. Golf class? Huh. The three of you had trouble finding something fun to do. The beach and the playground were off limits, and you felt that it was too warm for anything like playing with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly a light came to Lizzie's big brown eyes, and her smile spread across her face. Having an idea gave her a wave of energy. Oh, hi. Suddenly, since we're stuck inside, we should be adults. They don't play outdoors always. They're always inside and telling everybody they're too busy to play.
Why?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why?
Duh.
I said why. It'll be fun. Duh. What they do inside that we don't, besides use the phone a lot. Excluding a small huff, Lizzie decides to ignore Cove.
What do you think?
Dainty, what do you think? Do you want to? Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, let's overwrite that save. Cove said it. That doesn't sound fun. I bet we could come up with something else. I don't know. I want to. I think it'd be fun. Yeah. You do? Seriously? Yeah. Hooray! Okay, let me think. What do I want to be? Satisfied that neither of you were about to bail on her, Lizzie thought over her options while you watched. After a few seconds, she clapped her hands together and beamed, apparently having settled on something without asking either of you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be a professional golfer. Dainty, you and Cove can be a beach volleyball player and a gymnast, or a tennis player. Why can't we pick anything we want? Because I have a fun idea, that's why. And we play sports as adults. Yep. And there's other kinds of sports too.
Right?
It isn't the same. What do you think, Dainty? Don't those choices sound super cool? You want to be like that, huh? Oh, goodness. There's so many, oh my goodness. There's so many decisions in this game. I kind of like those. It really doesn't. It sounds like a blast. Isn't there anything else we can be? You nodded. Maybe not. I think, isn't there something else that we can be? Lizzie stomped a foot on the ground. Nope, come on, just decide already. Knowing Lizzie wouldn't let this go anytime soon, you sighed. Cove was not impressed with Lizzie's attitude, though he didn't bother talking more about it now. You thought over the list of possibilities. Beach volleyball, gymnastics, or tennis. Out of all of them, you prefer to play. Oh, goodness. Okay. Personally, I am a big fan of ball sports because I used to play rugby, as well as soccer, football. Yeah, I did a lot of sports. I did a lot. So, I would probably ditch gymnastics, beach volleyball, or tennis sounds fun. But beach, I never am meh on the beach. I know, I'm blasphemous. So I'd probably go tennis, because, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Redneckville, and so we actually had some tennis courts, so there was always, tennis balls around. And tennis balls are great fun when you can pick them up and play wall ball, which all you need is some friends and a wall. And you basically bounce that ball against the wall, have it bounce once, and then you grab it. And if you can't catch it and you stumble, then you have to run to the wall before someone grabs the ball and hits you with it. This later evolved to be what we called peg ball, which is literally we stand on opposite sides of the tennis court and play dodgeball with a tennis ball. In hindsight, this is very dangerous. Anyways, tennis. I remembered Mommy had a couple of old tennis rackets rolling around somewhere, but you forgot where you'd seen them last. You could check out the attic for them, although Lizzie wouldn't let you run off and do that now that she had you here. Yes, that was clearly the top option. Okay, I'm gonna be a tennis player.
Alright!
Get it. How about you, Cove? I pick volleyball. I should have known. Okay, so Dainty, you're a famous tennis player, and Cove, you're on the popular beach volleyball team, and Lizzie's ponytail bobbed when she proudly stretched her arms out wide. They're Olympic athletes who just competed in the Olympics. Oh my goodness. Cove didn't seem at all impressed with the announcement. He made a face and adjusted the glasses on his nose. That's really specific.
Rude.
That's what makes it fun, anyway. Lizzie marched back and forth in front of us, getting lost in her own imagination. I won all gold medals, and people are calling me the next Mickey Wright. Who's that? Yeah, who is that? Lizzie stomped on the spot and turned on him, her brown eyes shining with impatience. Doesn't matter if you know who she is. It's a golf thing. Okay, you guys won medals too. Cove, your team was bronze, and Dainty, you barely missed out on the gold and got silver. It's more real if you're not all first place. But Lizzie's all first place. Is that right? Also, there in this top right corner, there seems to be something bouncing around. I don't know, it seems weird. It's like orbs or something. Oh no! I think it's probably like them trying to be too realistic and like having dust particles floating in the air. It's more distracting than anything. Meh. So many decisions. Okay. Silver sucks. I don't want silver. I'm okay with that. Hey, we could do better than silver. Silver's not bad. Nice. Yeah, I was about to say, silver's not bad. Nice. It may not be first place, but you knew that silver medals were still really good to get at the Olympics. But it isn't gold.
Sorry.
Lots of people lose the Olympics. Them are the breaks. Then you're the one who did, not me. Lizzie looked taken aback by Cove's declaration, as though the thought of her losing was completely absurd. No, wait, it wouldn't make sense. I'm already practicing my golf game. She took a golfing stance to make her point, pretending to swing her club and hit an invisible ball. So what kind of house do you want to live in? That was an abrupt turn. The Cove hadn't changed his mind about winning, but thinking about where he'd live as an adult appealed to him, apparently, because he looked back at Lizzie with some of the anger fading. I was about to say, he angers really quickly, but of course he's also a child of divorce, so I don't really know his life right now. Going to live on the beach. I mean, that checks out for someone who's a beach volleyball player. Lizzie made a face at him, poking out her tongue. It's kind of boring, we already have that. No, not like the normal houses here on the street. On it. Right on the sand, by the water. Just like that, all the tension was back. You hadn't even had a chance to choose where you want to live. It's not very fun or smart, Cove. You could live on a bunch of sand and shells. You can live on the beach, actually. I mean, you could. Not anymore. Like, Florida they'll arrest you for it and all of that. But you used to be able to live on the beach. But I want to. And I will. Cove narrowed his eyes at Lizzie, even though she stood half a head taller than him. You didn't give out a list of things to pick from this time, so I'm picking that. Why are we even playing pretend if we can't imagine anything?
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, Lizzie, that's your own fault. Well, I'm gonna live in a mansion far away from here, far away from you. One with an indoor pool and a place to practice my award-winning golfing.
It's not fair.
How come you were yelling about mine when your idea is even more impossible? Facts. Facts. Lizzie's face flushed red, her hands balling into fists at her side. It is not impossible, and it's better than yours. Disagreement always seemed to crop up when the two of them were together. You always felt like you were stuck in the middle. When it came to the topic at hand, this time you thought, what did I think? Oh my goodness. I don't prefer a mansion. Actually, that's a lot of room. Being on the beach is cool. Cove was right. Tried to decide between, no. Cove was right. Totally. Cove's idea is good. You shouldn't say yours is the only right one. No one asked for your opinion. He smiled slightly over the agreement, and then turned to Lizzie with bolstered confidence. You can swim whenever you want if you live on the beach. You can still swim anytime we want. From where we live now, being a little closer doesn't mean anything. Says you. Two of them scowled at each other. Being so unreasonable, you... What's with the face? That's a weird face. I don't get what you want. This game doesn't make sense.
Ugh.
It does. You have to be realistic. I said that. But you're not. I had no idea what to do to make them stop at this point. It seemed like the two of them would just keep working each other up as long as they could. Nothing you said so far had kept them from being mad. Thankfully, like a greeting card angel, Mom walked into the room. Lizzie rushed over to her, hanging onto the hem of her shirt and poking out her tongue at Cove. Lizzie, Dainty, it's time to get ready to go.
You alright with that?
Sorry you have to leave already, Cove. Your mommy said... Their mummy said... she'll walk you home, so you won't be left in the cold. Oh. Sorry, I'm just not used to, like, their mummy, as in, like, you're talking... Yeah. Anyways. Cove was still glaring at Lizzie. His face flushed red with anger. I can go by myself. But...
Bye.
Oh, bye, Dainty. There's still a harsh edge in the brief farewell, but you knew it wasn't you he was mad at. Without giving Mom a chance to stop him, Cove stood up and stalked out of the room, shoulders drawn tight.
Huh?
Okay. Worried, Mom turned to look down at you and Lizzie. You two were playing nice with your new friend, weren't you? Nope, tell the truth. We were playing pretend and things got intense. We were like cats and dogs. Your sister's jaw dropped, looking betrayed. His mom put both hands on her hips. Elizabeth! Told you to be kind to him. He's having a hard time right now. Lizzie's mouth closed back up, replaced by a tiny frown. I know, I tried, but was...
That's enough.
Nope. No, but we both know you can show someone a great time when you put your mind to it. We're going to apologize to Cove and his dad over the phone when he gets home from work tonight. Lizzie hung her head, dragging a foot across the ground in front of her. Okay, Mom. Good girl. You got pieces of Lizzie sulking to herself about how it was his fault too, but it was over. Alright. Better get a move on.
Let's go.
Let's go, kids. Nolani. Ah, that's the name. There we go. I guess, giving more detail in the background of Dainty here. where I grew up, it was actually unusual for parents to call each other by anything but their first names. So, like, hearing Nolani, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because you call the person by their first name.
Let's go.
Where did you leave the car keys? Oh, car. Hello, car. Mom hustled you all out the door, and you noticed during the car ride to golf practice that Lizzie was quieter than usual. She was usually the first to request which music to listen to in the car, but she didn't say a thing. Your parents noticed she wasn't in a mood to be bothered. They gave her space, and Mommy just asked you what you'd like to listen to. You picked your favorite song, and it's always made the car ride more fun. You chose the soundtrack to a cool movie you saw a couple months ago. Chose a song you knew Lizzie liked. Maybe that'll cheer her up. That's a good idea. You were happy to see it brightened her up right away, and she started singing along with you. Good. Soon enough, her bad mood was a thing of the past. Oh, that's gorgeous. When the car ride was over, you spent the twilight hour watching Lizzie hit things with other girls her age. You don't know much about golf, but you could tell that she really liked it, so you sat with your moms and tried to puzzle it out. It was nice sitting outside after being cooped up in the house all day, and you stretched out your legs to let the last few minutes of sun warm your skin. When the sun was finally out of sight, dripping beyond the horizon, you all got ready to leave. Instead of going straight home, your moms took the family out to dinner. You went to a restaurant you had all been going to ever since you could remember. The whole afternoon had been a bunch of shouting you hadn't been able to stop, but you could all tell that all this helped Lizzie be less angry. The car ride home was quiet, with only the radio providing escape from silence. Lizzie had been in better spirits now, but the closer you got to your neighborhood, the more she wiggled in her seat and frowned out the window. She knew what was coming when you all got back home. Clearly, she was dreading it. Soon enough, Mom was turning onto the street, then reversed into the driveway. When she cut the ignition, it was dead silent. No one spoke, only unbuckled their seatbelts and opened their doors. Lizzie was the last one out. Once everyone was inside and done taking off their shoes, she propped her hands on her hips.
So,
Now then, Mr. Holden's car is in this driveway, so he should be back from work. That's good news, isn't it, Elizabeth? You and Cove can hash things out before the day's done. Lizzie didn't complain or put up a fight. Her head ducked so she didn't have to meet anyone's eyes. She nodded once. Good, let's move this to the kitchen. Mommy went over to the house phone and the rest of you following behind her. Mommy put a gentle hand on Lizzie's shoulder as they walked side by side. You watched them from the back. This was only happening because you told on Lizzie. I mean, yeah. I'm not kidding on this one. Should have happened. You don't regret it. You felt a little guilty, like you had betrayed your sister. No. You didn't like doing it, but had to. It's your fault for doing it in the first place. I don't like it, yeah, but had to. You don't want to tell the truth. Like, not that the truth is always fun, but tell the truth. Being a tattletale didn't feel good, but you wouldn't want someone else to tell your moms everything you did. Still, your mom had asked directly, and you wanted to be a liar even less. The four of you stood around the kitchen in a lopsided circle. Square. Not a circle, that's a square. Oh my god, Dainty, you're here. All eyes were on Lizzie, who kept her gaze on her feet. You remember the number of Cove's house, don't you, honey? Lizzie jerked her head up in another nod, sullen. Without further prompting, she stepped forward and began to dial. Ooh, look at that. Mom reached over and pressed a button on the base. Suddenly, you could hear the phone ringing. She turned on the speaker. The phone rang a couple times and stopped. Mr. Holden's warm voice came through the other end. Evening, Holden residence. Lizzie looked over at Mommy, unsure. She nodded encouragingly. Hi, Mr. Holden. It's, Lizzie. Can I talk to Cove?
Absolutely.
DaintyTank. What a surprise. But of course you could say hey to the boy. He sounded cheery as usual, though. Definitely meant it when he said it was a surprise. You thought hard, and you were sure that your sister had never called Cove's house before. Mom spoke up before Mr. Holden or Lizzie could say anything more. Her arms were crossed over her chest, her lips pursed. Hi, Cliff. Nolani, Dainty, and I are here too. Good evening. We're sorry to bother you so late. Just speak up and say hi. Hi, Mr. Holden. Gang's all here, huh? Is something the matter? His voice grew a bit concerned. Mummy was quick to reassure him. No, well, yes. But it's gonna be okay. Lizzie and Cove got into a bit of a fight today, and we were hoping that two of them could talk and make up. Is that a good time for you and Cove?
What?
A fight? Cove didn't tell me anything about that when I came home. It does explain the funk he's been in all tonight. He chuckled lightly. Despite that, didn't seem like he really thought it was funny. Anyways, it's good you didn't catch us at that time. I'll go grab him for you. There was some shuffling on the other end. He must not have gone far because you could still hear him calling out. Cove! There's someone on the phone for you. After a bit of silence, there was more muffled talking from Cove's end. Come on, bud. Lizzie called just so she can talk to you.
Are you sure?
Dainty's on the other end listening too. Don't you want to say hi? Ooh. It took a bit of back and forth, though the conversation seemed one-sided, since you couldn't hear Cove properly. Eventually, Cove took the phone from his dad.
Hi.
Hello? Hey, it's Lizzie. Yeah, I know. Dad told me. Cove's tone was defensive. Lizzie turned to Mom, scowling. One stern look from her, though, and Lizzie turned away.
Sorry.
I just called to say, I'm sorry for not playing nice with you today. I won't do it again. Lizzie's eyes were downcast, her voice low. You could tell she felt uncomfortable apologizing to Cove in front of everyone. She was still being genuine about feeling bad. Cove must have realized that, too, because he sighed quietly. I want gold, and I think Dainty should win, too. Really? He thought you were worth gold, even though you hadn't even wanted it? Lizzie was momentarily stunned silent by the demand. She probably forgot that was even what happened today. Alright. We all win the gold. Okay. I guess I'm sorry too. A sense of relief washed over everyone at his acceptance of the apology. Mom uncrossed her arms while Mummy's shoulders relaxed. Lizzie's eyebrows raised up. She wondered if she thought that he'd refuse her apology. Dad, can I get off the phone now? You couldn't see him, but it was obvious that Cove felt awkward about the situation. He had come off uncomfortable the entire time, really. Yeah, I don't blame him. This is a very uncomfortable situation, but I'm glad you guys hashed it out and everybody got gold. That's really adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go back to your room if you want. Be sure to say goodbye first, though. Bye, Lizzie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dainty. Hey. He perked up a moment at the mention of your name. He smiled even though he couldn't see it. Bye, Cove. Well, with that said, Cove must have handed the phone to his dad and left, since Mr. Holden spoke up.
That's a relief.
All's well that ends well, as they say. Thanks for arranging this. I'm sure he appreciates it. As Mom replied, Lizzie tugged on Mommy's hand to catch her attention. Can I go now, too?
Good job.
Sure, sweetie. Thank you very much for apologizing to Cove. Mom flashed a brief smile at Lizzie and nodded her agreement. Given permission to leave, Lizzie scuttled off towards the stairs. She seemed to be feeling much better with the incident behind her. Mom and Mummy returned to the phone, taking it off the speaker. They continued talking to Mr. Holden. You couldn't tell what about. You were glad that was the end of it all. Lizzie and Cove might not get along, and probably still won't, but they weren't mad at each other anymore. Mom and Mummy weren't upset either. everything was back to normal. With that thought, you retreated to your own room with a spring in your step. Yay! Okay, that was cute, but it was also a lot of reading. And I can feel my aphasia. Circle instead of square. Just saying. Anyways, if you enjoy any of this, I definitely want to know your thoughts on this so far. Mainly because it has so many different choices, and let me know if you're enjoying this. If you think I should keep playing and keep going with this. So, with that, I'll see you next time. Love you all. Bye!